morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. So, in a significant development, Ingrid Lewis Martin, a former top aide to New York City Mayor Eric Adams, is expected to appear in court today on bribery charges. This case adds to a growing list of legal challenges facing the Adams administration. He's been having all sorts of things occur, not only to himself, but those who surround him as well. And these allegations of Lewis Martin is accused of accepting a $100,000 loan from businessmen after assisting them with issues related to a construction project and the city's Department of Buildings. They always had these sort of allegations surrounding constructions in New York, and this has been happening ever since like the 40s or 50s. This is historic, if not present day, revealed. It also states that she resigned from her position over the past weekend amid the allegations. Alongside Lewis Martin, her son, and two businessmen are also expected to be arraigned on related charges. This case raises serious concerns about corruption within the city's administration, especially as Mayor Adams himself faces unrelated federal corruption charges, which he denies. Now, we've been getting a lot of information with these drones surrounding and flying around the New Jersey area, all throughout the state there, but in particular areas, because the use of drone smuggling, they've been using drones a lot of near these prisons there in New Jersey, certain parts of New Jersey, to smuggle contraband into correctional facilities. And that this has been going on and it's becoming more public, and that the reason why is has made headline news because it's on the rise, posing a significant challenge to prison security nationwide. I think we've seen this on the mayor of Kingstown, where they used a drone to fly over, drugs or contraband of any sort, and the drone can just drop it and fly away. And a lot of people was thinking, where did that drone come from? But then it would disappear. It's literally someone right outside in the parking lot, or someone who's adjacent in a field, who are landing these drones. Again, the bigger the drone, the more things that it can carry. Joint Base McGuire Deluxe in New Jersey has reported multiple drone incursions attempting to deliver contraband into the prison. Items such as drugs, cell phones, and weapons are being smuggled, compromising the safety and security of inmates and staff. So again, all these different sorts of contraband are being used by drones. Again, drugs and weapons to be the most plentiful when it comes to the contraband that's being delivered and dropped off. And again, this has been undetected, as mostly occurring at night. And for these things to occur where they're just dropping contraband inside of the yard, and again, it's usually at night, don't you think there's some guards who's on the payroll, some guards who are fearful of their life and their family, of some hardened criminals or organized gangs or mafias or cartels who may be a part of this? So again, this is something that we should actually be investigating, because this may pose as a bigger problem. The increasing sophistication of drones enable larger payloads, escalating the risk of more dangerous items being introduced into prisons. This trend underscores the urgent need for advanced counter-drone technologies and stricter regulations to safeguard correctional facilities. But that's not only it, because the Chinese allegedly are using drones as well, because in recent weeks, people have seen a surge in mysterious drone sightings near at least 17 U.S. military bases located adjacent to Chinese-owned farmlands, raising national security concerns. There was a congressman who came out yesterday say, I believe that these drones are essentially spy drones from the Chinese. You guys should check out yesterday's evening broadcast, and there's more details on that. They stated that the affected bases are spread across, including Hawaii, Utah, California, Maine, and Florida. So not just in New Jersey, but 17 U.S. basins that are closely adjacent and near Chinese-owned farmland. Analysts suspect that China may be utilizing these farmlands to conduct surveillance on U.S. military operations. Representative Mikhail McCall labeled these drones as potential spy drones from China. Despite the concerns, officials from the FBI, FAA, Pentagon, and DHS have stated that most drone sightings likely involve commercial or hobbyist drones and do not pose a threat. The proximity of these drone sightings to critical military installation highlights potential vulnerabilities in national security. It emphasizes the need for enhanced surveillance and countermeasures to detect and neutralize unauthorized drone activities near sensitive areas. Again, eventually there may be more news evidence that comes out that state that not all of the drones were spy drones, but maybe one or two of them. But again, if we keep hearing information, usually the truth comes to be revealed, and we'll see that some of these drones may be spy drones, maybe not from China, maybe from another country. We have more enemies than America likes to make public. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. In space exploration, NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, who have been stranded on the International Space Station due to a malfunction on the Bourne Starline capsule, will now have to remain there until at least late March of next year. Originally on an 8-day test mission that began in June, their stay has extended to 9 months. Their return would coincide with astronauts Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Golbanov. When the Crew 10 mission arrives, however, Crew's 10 launch have been delayed to allow more time for the preparation of a new Dragon spacecraft by SpaceX. Now, I'm pretty sure these guys are highly trained. They're in tip-top conditions, but going up there for an 8-day test mission and staying up there for almost a year, I think altogether it's around 10 or 11 months they'll be up there. I know that has to be, this agony if you're just waiting to get back to your family and you only signed up for these very short stays, in the ISA, the International Space Station, so to speak, where you're going to just do your job and come back home like a week trip, like a work trip. And then you're going to be there for like 10 months. So I know that's just irritating as hell and frustrating. And again, they have to work out twice a day to apply the amount of stress that the human body naturally goes through because of gravity. So they have to artificially make that stress up by working out rigorously for at least 2 hours a day, or at least twice a day. I believe it's twice a day for 2 hours, or it's twice a day, 2 hours total. But nonetheless, I believe all in all, they're working out twice a day, and they're really doing rigorous work, running really fast. They're doing a lot of things to keep stress on their body, to simulate or to artificially incur stress on their bodies the same way gravity does our bodies naturally. And again, this goes back to Boeing Starliner, and then you got the Boeing Dreamliner, or is the Boeing 737 or 747 with those malfunctioning doors that people have been incurring. So again, Boeing has a lot of issues, and they may have to reevaluate some engineering designs, engineers altogether. I don't know. I'm no aeronautical engineer, but I know you have issues with your Starliner, you have issues with your regular aircraft. Again, there may be an overhaul happening to Boeing internally that we'll find out much, much later. In tech history, or in the tech industry, Oklo, a nuclear energy startup led by OpenAI Sam Altman, has signed a significant 20-year deal with Switch, a major data center operator, to build reactors with a capacity up to 12 gigawatts. This agreement, though non-binding, is noted as one of the largest clean power deals historically and could be worth billions if binding terms are reached. The small modular reactors Oklo is development can provide the low carbon, high wattage power essential for the growing artificial intelligence industry. I don't know if these small nuclear reactors are going to be built in America. We have so much regulations around nuclear power, even though nuclear power is generally clean and is one of the most plentiful, powerful power sources that we can tap into. But because of some world-renowned events like Chernobyl, we also have a decommissioned nuclear power plant in Washington State. So again, Americans all together, because of the lack of knowledge around nuclear energy and the way that the government propagates about nuclear energy, has us fearful that we shouldn't have nuclear reactors, even though nuclear energy is generally clean and nuclear energy is generally cheap. We're talking about, take for instance, you have a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot home, and your usual energy bill is, let's say, $300. If you had a nuclear reactor, let's say 50 miles from your home, and you're tapped into that grid, chances are your energy bill may be $100. It will literally cut a third into your energy bill because of nuclear energy, okay? So not that I'm some nuclear scientist, because I don't know that much about it. I just know enough of it because of, certain missions and jobs and tasks that I had in the military. But nonetheless, let's just say it will cut your bills down significantly, okay? Without saying too much. Without saying too much. A recent study by Proply has found that Shake Shack is America's most expensive fast food chain. I don't know why. I don't recall where I ate at Shake Shack. I don't believe I've ever had Shake Shack, and if I did, it's probably only once. And fast food being expensive, I don't know. Who thought? I thought McDonald's would take that #1 spot, but I guess not. With frequent complaints about high prices, people have been complaining about the Shake Shack prices. Following closely were Five Guys and various celebrity-owned restaurants, notably they're owned by Gordon Ramsay. Despite the prevalence of Shake Shack's locations in New York City, the study determined NYC to have the least overpriced restaurants among major U.S. cities. The findings coming amidst ongoing price hikes in the fast food chains nationwide, leading to significant customer dissatisfaction. Again, oh, look at this. They have Snoop Dogg on the news. Now, you may not like Snoop Dogg or you may love Snoop Dogg. The only thing I know about Snoop Dogg nowadays, he is making a ton of money because they have this guy everywhere. He is selling everything. He is promoting everything. They stated that Snoop Dogg was receiving like $1 million a day or $100,000 a day. It was something astronomical just for him being at Olympic events and saying probably less than 500 words. So again, shout out to him. You can't hate when someone's grinding and they're just giving you the bag. I'm not hating. I'm just pocket watching. No, I'm just kidding. But nonetheless, shout out goes to Snoop Dogg. In international news, following the recent overthrow of Bashar al-Assad government in Syria, top diplomats from the U.S., the Arab League, and Turkey met in Jordan to discuss the future of Syria and ensure a smooth transition to make sure they can get somebody that they can trust and that they can flip and they can manipulate. I mean, someone that has the best interests of Syrians. The meeting resulting in a joint statement calling for a ceasefire in Syria and a locally led political transition. This comes amidst regional instability due to the Israel-Hamas conflict and ongoing tensions between Israel and Hezbollah. So as I stated many times before, that Israel is in a three-head war with Hezbollah, Hamas, and Syria. And they're calling for a ceasefire in Syria. I don't know what that means because the ceasefire shouldn't be in Syria. It should be in Israel towards Syria. Now, I don't know with any conflicts or missions or attacks that Syria has done to Israel. But again, if there's going to be a ceasefire, there needs to be a ceasefire on all accounts, okay? And so they can get this transition of power so Syria can be once again stabilized. Again, we're still hearing the ceasefire, I believe, between Hezbollah still holding up, but there may be little skirmishes here and there that people may not be aware of. But again, they're not large enough to state that the ceasefire has been, expired or revoked, and they're now having combat and missions are currently on the ground today. But nonetheless, that is your news for this morning. Sorry, I had a lot of things going on this morning. Thank you guys for joining me here. This is Blacklogic.